building that trust between each other is going to take a little bit of time. Yeah. If anything makes you feel uncomfortable that she does or any other employee does, you definitely should address it with them at the time. Okay? If the behaviour stops, that's great. If it continues, that's when you need to escalate it.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for you moving forward to get that trust again, you know. I think that will just take some time. But I think just reflecting on, you know, how you are, whatever you say to her and that in the workplace, whatever actions you take with her in the workplace, just make sure that they're always professional, which I'm sure you will, okay?
Yes.
And just make sure that they are things that you would be saying to other people as well. That's all we can ask from you. Yeah. And then if you are unsure or if something feels a bit off, just go into the team leader, have a chat, go into Jacky, have a chat. You know, if it's something that's bothering you a little bit, like, you know, she's doing something that bothers you a little bit and you're a bit unsure, just go in and say to Jacky, look, you know, Hannah's doing this at the moment, I'm a little unsure, like, I'm just feeling a bit funny about it. Jacky will probably be able to address it, you know, straight away. But yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, have you got any other questions?
When in terms of joking around, if I said to the staff member, like tell her because you wore the hat and because I wore the hat as well, and you had a thing on top, did you need help told me that it would have made him feel uncomfortable rather than because he was joking
That person
well
actually didn't say anything to me. It was, I got feedback.
Oh,
Yeah. So, yeah. But it's just, you know, you need to be aware as well of what your actions are
okay.
with other people.
Because we were joking, so I thought that, you know, in terms of joking, but because he was imitating my voice, and so
I don't really know what's happened, but I guess see that is how easy it is for something to get out of context, right? And I could also say, oh, but I was only joking. But I'm just saying as an example. So you genuinely thought that you were just having a joke with that person, and it may not have been that person that actually overheard it or got offended. Heard it or got offended. That person might actually have been having a joke with you, but somebody in the distance who is out of that conversation hears it out of context and is offended by it. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So we've always got to be careful with, you know, who we're having a joke with, what we're saying in the workplace and things like that, because it can be misconstrued. And that's why, you know, sometimes people's actions, they genuinely are not out to get the person. They're genuinely not out to call that person a Teletubby or anything like that. And they can be misconstrued, you know. And so that's why, you know, sometimes a little bit of patience is required, a little bit of, you know, thinking about it.
Should I then have clarified with the person to ensure that there wasn't any miscommunication by saying that, oh, I didn't mean any disrespect, right? I just, the other staff member and I were joking kind of thing, or should I?
Well, I guess you didn't even know the other staff member was maybe there, so that's the thing. So I guess, you know, we just got to be careful with what we say in the workplace and know that other people are listening and they may take that out of context. And of course, you know, if Jacky's giving you this feedback, your response to that was, well, I was actually having a conversation with this person. Okay, fine, you know, it's just about being a bit mindful of our actions, of what we say, of things like that. So, you know, you never know who's listening or who's, you know, maybe a bit sensitive to something like that. That could be a triggering thing for somebody else, you know. And so, yeah, it's just best to, at work, just be at work. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I focus on something and people say, oh, should I joke? Should I not joke? Or should I like be louder? And then, because in one of that same place as well, I was talking to you about the other hospital, is that they said that what they would do was they'd say that I was quiet, and then when I used to speak up about it, they yelled at me. And then that's why I tend to speak quieter as well too, and I just keep to my job as well too, because, and then people wonder why I'm quiet, and then I just want to do my job and not have, because if you,
I think it's a hard balance, but I think it's just about picking up on people's social cues a little bit. So, you know, you're quite new in the department, so people probably not everybody's been able to build a relationship with you yet and form an opinion of you, right? Because anybody new, it's like, people judge you to form an opinion about you, whether they like you, whether they don't like you, whether they want to get along with you or not, or and within each group of people, I think there's like within each team, there's almost little groups of people that tend to what's the word, like you tend to naturally gravitate, I guess, towards certain people within your team. And it might be, you know, we're a team of 5, I'm really close with Jacky. I'm good with everybody else, but I'm really close with Jacky, you know, and you might be really, really close with one of the other people, but we know each other really well. So when you're new, you still haven't established that as yet. And so I think what's best to do is not overthink it, just be who you are, okay? But be professional about it, obviously. And sometimes I say be who you are, and it needs to be appropriate to the workplace. But just be who you are. You know, people will form their opinions, you'll form relationships, and once you've formed those relationships a little bit more and get to know these people a little bit more, you'll know who you're able to have a joke with. You know, you'll know who you'll be able to have a bit more of an open conversation with, and who maybe is a little bit more conservative, and it's during those times when you're working with those people you just need to focus on work. Yeah, so it's about picking up on those social cues, understanding people and what they do in their personal lives a little more. So, you know, sitting with people in the tea room and understanding what their hobbies are and things like that gives you things to be able to talk about, and maybe, you know, things that you should avoid talking about with certain people as well, so you're picking up on those social cues a little bit. So it's just about reading people a little bit, understanding it. You don't have to walk on eggshells, you don't have to justify everything that comes out of your mouth. Okay? But it's just about being mindful of what's being said, and whether that what's being said can be misconstrued perhaps, or something like that. So it's better to just have, I always say in the workplace, it's good to just have baseline conversation. You know, what do you like to do out of work? What are your hobbies? Do you have any pets? You know, that kind of conversation. And you keep the relationship like nice and neutral. You know, when you start having jokes about things like appearance or things like that, it can always be misconstrued, whether you think it's a joke or not. So I just sort of stick to general conversation.
So if someone says to me, I'll be quiet, then should I be louder? Sorry? If someone says to me, I'll be quiet, should I be louder then? Or should
well, really, it's nobody has to comment on that. I would just be saying to people, I am what I am. You know, sometimes I'm quiet, sometimes I'm loud. It just depends on whether I'm working or not. We don't have to justify being quiet.
We have people that are really quite loud, and we have people that are just quiet, they go in, they do their work, and then they go out. Yeah. And that's just acceptable. It's all acceptable. As long as the people, when they're loud, they're not actually disturbing other people's focus on their job. That's basically it. You know, if you are actually disturbing somebody else because you know that you've got to focus on, you know, what you're doing, if that person's focusing and then you're really loud and you're actually distracting them, well then that would be something. But I mean, if it's just your normal everyday thing, there's nothing. It's just,
Because I'm the type of person who likes to focus on the task, and because when you enter a new environment, you want to like learn as much so that you don't disrupt the work environment, or cause there's the least amount of disruption as possible. And so I was trying to learn, and I did.
And that's what I said at the meeting the other day, that you know, if somebody comes up and they are disturbing you while you're doing something, you just say to them, oh yeah, can I just answer you in a minute, wait until I finish this. That's it, because you do need to focus.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's just been, you know, them actually realising that you're actually having to do something. And I'm one of them. I go up and say, oh, thank you, and then oh, sorry.
Also, if someone says to you're supposed to be helping me in this area, but I know I have a feeling that I'm not supposed to be, they should take it as an offense, as an offense, or if I say, oh, I'd like to confirm it with the team leader or the supervisor.
I'll just say, oh yeah, no problem, but I'll just go and check whoever the team leader is, just in case they want me to finish this off or do something. Yeah, because the team leader, they're there to know the whole area, and so they know, you know, they might want you to finish something there, and they can get somebody else to help. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming in. I might just stay behind and have a chat with Jacky about another matter. So yeah, thank you very much. If you've got any questions, feel free to come in at any time, have a chat, okay? But yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. No worries.